Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic, phenomenal day. We're taking a look here at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. Keeps retesting this upper 68K range here. Potential for a break, but we got to recognize too, though, that this run has been it's been a long time coming. So it would make sense for the price to pull back at least a little bit. That'd be my speculation. Again, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news here. I'm absolutely not attached myself to a bias of bullish or bearish, but I can tell you though that this looks like a good little breakout pattern, but it also kind of feels like a small trap. However, keep in mind too, there's a lot of potential too for this to be a trap for shorts also, because I think the way the market's shaping up here, a lot of these candle wicks, they're really just manipulative wicks, and they're kind of showing us that there's still a lot of strength. So again, we're kind of in this weird little transition right now. Altcoins are bleeding out. Bitcoin dominance is way too high. There's a lot of reasons why you want to be careful. I would say taking a trade right now. That's just me personally. I don't really like trying to take a long at the top, which just does feel kind of like a tentative top. Then also shorting just feels kind of weird too, honestly, just based on the way that we have a lot of volume, a lot of price action. I'm willing to speculate we're going to see a breakout either up or down very, very soon. Big surprise, right? That's how the markets move. They either go up or down. Okay, so let's take a look here. Quickly to note, we can see majority liquidation here locally has been swept. So 68.4 is that area liquidation that just got hit here recently. We got a few late shorts here, upwards of about 69 to 70K, but it's not like a tremendous amount. So we do this here, we kind of zoom out and in. We can see again, 68K had the largest amount of liquidation. Obviously back at about 66.6 as well. Both those areas had about 30 to 40 billion in liquidation, like right at that one point. But we take a look here though, there is a heavy concentration about 69,250, which seems pretty safe to me. So anybody shorting right now has a stop loss further away. Those are probably some medium to low leverage shorts. All the high leverage shorts recently got destroyed. So again, try not to be a high leverage long or short regardless. It's just really stupid, honestly. That's not how crypto trading is supposed to work. And I'll explain, obviously, if you're new to the channel, what I mean by that. But the general consensus here is that we're probably reaching a tentative top. We may not see a massive pullback, but it would make sense at the very least for some consolidation. Like after these aggressive candle wicks, a lot of times the price action will move in a very definitive direction. At this point, though, we have, once again, way too many longs in the market. This just feels kind of off. When we have over 10 billion in delta for liquidation longs, that just leads me to believe that we're probably going to see some of those get swept here soon. Again, it's not a reason to take a short, but I would lean a little bit more towards shorts being more successful at this exact moment than longs. But again, the price could very well wick up to that 69, 70K mark, destroy any late longs, and just move right back down, or sorry, any late shorts, and move right back down to sweep some longs here. 62,300 is still that area of open interest here for Bitcoin. So again, interesting stuff. The back end kind of lets us know that there's still some shenanigans happening here, and I don't really trust it very much. And when I don't trust something, just like a human being, I prefer to steer clear of it. Okay, so perhaps you could consider maybe not over trading at this exact moment. So here's some positive though. Let's keep this in mind. We are testing this descending type of trend. Keep in mind we've wicked up a few times and haven't closed above it yet. So a closure above this 64,500 mark would be a pretty substantial thing. Keep in mind when it comes to these descending trend lines, you really have to wait for it to bullishly backtest the trend line before you want to consider entry. So being a breakout trader in this market right now, not generally the best practice, okay? That on top of the fact that Bitcoin dominance is absorbing a tremendous amount of market volume, if you will. Basically just telling us here, this is telling us that almost 60% of the market is Bitcoin, which is essentially why we're seeing such red in the market for altcoins, because they're finally starting to get the hint. It's like, okay, we're overextended, we need to pull back, we're going to secure some profits, we're getting closer to a top. While I still feel Bitcoin could run, I don't think it's going to run too much further, at least not yet. We need more consolidation at this effort, or a consolidative effort rather, at this price range before we see that. Okay, so just some kind of things to think about. When we look here at the traditional indicators, we can see on the daily, we're getting closer to 70. Now, not to say it couldn't break through, but once again, this is somewhat of a resistance shelf in most cases. So to me, 68, 69K seems like a logical resistance range for us to respect and to not take a long into. That just doesn't make a ton of sense to take a long until we get some confirmation. Even if we get confirmation, Bitcoin has been notorious about just faking the heck out of you. So again, a lot of reasons why we look at liquidation to kind of recognize kind of some incentive and some merit. There isn't a tremendous amount of liquidation left to the upside. So that leads me to believe that we're getting closer to our tentative top and we might see a slight pullback. Once again, that 65K range seems like a logical range for a consolidation or a retracement. But again, we kind of already did that yesterday, right? We saw that aggressive 5% up, 5% down, and just turned into garbage, honestly. Either way you look at it here, money flow index is good. We got a lot of volume. You generally don't want to try to short into that. So the funny thing is we're coming up to a resistance level, and we're also in a situation where there's a lot of volume, so you don't want to short. What do you know? Indications telling us you shouldn't take a trade either up or down. Weird, right? I know it's strange for this guy online to be requesting or recommending that I don't take a trade, but generally speaking, the best traders are the ones that are going to be patient and wait for it. Like, for example, we had a long open with Filecoin. We closed it at a slight loss. With the 5x leverage, it was maybe a 10% loss. And then instantly opened another short with like SEI, for example. And this coin looks like it's absolutely ready to drop. So once more, sometimes you got to make that executive decision to not be stuck in one direction or the other. So the market shifts often. So anyways, not saying that's right or wrong. That's just kind of what we did here as a community, and the overall sentiment here is still very bullish. I'm not discrediting that. It just makes sense for us to see somewhat of a turnaround here. Again, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be massive, but I do think that 65, 64, 5, somewhere in that frame. This seems like a probable area of retracement just based on previous support on basically just the daily candlestick closures. I'll highlight that in our playout chart here soon. Here's the key takeaway. We're over 70 on the RSI. You generally don't want to short into that. This is another reason why I'm apprehensive to short Bitcoin, because we have a lot of continuation, a lot of momentum, and you absolutely do not want to try to bet against that, right? So again, there's a lot of confirming factors letting us know Bitcoin's probably more likely to increase. But again, this is a pretty significant overextension. Generally speaking, when you get over 70 on the RSI on the 4 hour, it only lasts for about 24 to 48 hours. When it gets closer to 72, you kind of want to start shifting gears and considering securing profit. At this point, though, it's been about a day and a half, roughly. So we're getting closer to that threshold where the price action should start to top out. We are printing a doji candle here so far as well, the 4 hour. So if we close at 67.9 or lower in the next 30 minutes, we are going to potentially see a turnaround. Again, that's not a guarantee. It just implies in the last 4 hours, the price has tried and has failed to pass that certain level. And we're closing at or close to its original open point, which tells you the bulls are seemingly unsuccessful. All right. And with this high amount of volume, again, you don't want to short into that, so you're better off steering clear. Once more, just some friendly advice from somebody who's been in the industry for over 20 years. Trading industry, obviously not crypto, but I can tell you that traditional markets, they work very similar. They just don't have quite as much greed involved with liquidation, because there's generally just a lot less volume. Anyways, conversation for another day. Ichimoku Cloud on the hourly is letting us know here that we're still in good shape for a long position. So I still don't recommend taking a long right now. Even if it breaks out and goes to 70K, I would still recommend not taking a trade right now, because you're going against the grain. But the truth is, majority of everything here is letting us know the price should go up. It would just be surprising for it to continue higher at this exact moment. So again, without consolidation, we may not see that continue, but we got a decent period here. We got a good 5 or 6 hours here with a strong amount of control. We do take a look at our time price opportunity. We can see within the last 24 hours or less, basically probably like 16, 17 hours so far, we've seen 67,000 be the heaviest amount of volume accumulation. So it leads us to believe that 67K is a good solid support, and that if the price action closes above 67K today, there's still more likelihood of the price going up. So what does that all mean? Well, simply put, I don't recommend taking a trade right now. It just feels too risky, but that's just me personally being a little bit more risk averse. Most signs are pointing up right now. You're going to find a lot more benefit taking a long position with Bitcoin. Just make sure if you do, you watch it close. I really don't think we're going to the so-called moon. I do personally feel like we're going to see somewhat of a pullback here soon. I don't foresee it being monumental. I would hope that it's 64.5 to 65. That's that 66K range, somewhere in here. So that way we can kind of get a nice solid consideration for long. Because again, we got a decent amount of confluence here at this range, about 64.4. Previous resistance turn support. Hopefully we can get a little pivot off there. But again, that may never happen. Keep that in mind. Just know the one thing that will happen here, so with Bitcoin dominance remaining so stinking high, we're going to continue to see altcoins bleed out until that starts to shift. Keep in mind, this is not the cause, this is the effect. This isn't, altcoins aren't dropping because of this. This is happening because altcoins are dropping, but it's just a good indication of where the market is at. And it makes sense. Most altcoins had a pretty good little surge here recently. They're bouncing back to their halfway point. Most were consolidating to their 0.5 fib level. So I think it's just all about patience right now at this point. So folks, pump the brakes. It's okay. You don't have to trade all day, every day. And if whoever you're watching outside of this channel is recommending that you trade consistently and you got to go long on everything, you maybe want to reevaluate. Again, if your risk tolerance tells you that you don't feel comfortable doing that, then don't take a trade, right? Either way, thanks so much again for watching. I really hope you learned something today. You want to become a better trader as per usual, cryptocash.tech is the site, link down below, and I'll be happy to help you out there. Remember, I'll never direct message you. You can feel free to reach out to me at any point. I have plenty of contact information below, but I'll never try to solicit you. So just know I dislike scammers, and unfortunately, they're very present in the market that we're in right now. Anyways, I'll update our playout chart here. I'll post it on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you're not familiar. Looks a little something like this, and give you some considerations there, all right? So I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thanks again so much for your time. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.